Imagine stepping off a plane into a foreign land. The smells of exotic food, the chatter of a different language, the promise of new opportunity. For millions of Filipinos and their families, this is reality. Have you ever wondered why so many of our kababayans are drawn to distant shores? Which places on earth are desperately calling for Filipino talent? And on a lighter note, which country pays Filipino nurses the highest salaries? We'll tell you at the end. But first, what is the capital of the Philippines? Hint, it's not Cebu. Answer below, comment your guesses. A. Let's board our global flight. Which nations are practically begging for Filipino workers, and why? Here are 10 fascinating destinations in documentary-style detail. Country 10. United States. From New York City's skyline to California's Golden Coast, thus has long leaned on Filipino talent. Hospitals in every state need nurses, doctors, and caregivers. Americans have high regard and respect for Filipino nurses, observes us officials. In fact, roughly 200,000 Filipino nurses, about 4% of all us nurses, work there today. Tech companies also seek Filipino engineers, IT specialists, and hospitality firms recruit Filipinos as chefs or hotel staff. Salaries are high. Us nurses can earn upwards of $70,000 divided by year. Software engineers earn 100K plus, but so are living costs. Visas are tricky. One must navigate H-1B rules for skilled workers or the EB visa green card process. Still, many Filipinos dream of us shores for the professional growth and lifestyle. Imagine celebrating Halloween in suburban neighborhoods, or a Filipino-American family gathering over Thanksgiving turkey and lumpia. Legally, us employers must sponsor work visas and meet strict requirements, but the demand remains. They know our nurses are compassionate, well-trained. Cultural life is vibrant. Filipino communities thrive in cities like Los Angeles, Honolulu, New York, and Chicago, hosting festivals with music, culinary delights, and the Taguig toasting spirit of home. From karaoke nights in Little Manila to 4th of July parades with Filipino flags, Pinoys bring home everywhere they go. Country 9. Canada. Next, picture a Filipino nurse enjoying maple syrup at a cottage lodge, or a software engineer hiking in the Rockies on weekends. Canada's friendly immigration policies and booming industries make it a hotspot for skilled Filipinos. In 2023, Canada launched the CUN Work Philippines pilot program to fast-track Filipino hires in critical sectors like healthcare, construction, and agri-food. Indeed, a Filipino doctor or nurse can earn CAD $80 and 100K yearly, while tech and trades jobs pay comparably well. Workers have access to public health care and paid leave, and many provinces like Manitoba or British Columbia offer extra incentives and clear path to permanent residency. One cultural bonus: Canada celebrated its first ever Philippines-Canada Friendship Week in 2023, complete with Filipino parades. Employers can now set group interviews and medical exams in Manila, speeding visas. An engineer in Toronto might marvel at the CN Tower and learn French or Tagalog interchangeably, while a teacher in Calgary would find a thriving Filipino community. Life here is famously safe and welcoming. Filipino cafes in Vancouver's Chinatown, scenic on rainy Vancouver Island days, or karaoke nights in Filipino-owned pubs in Toronto show that the spirit of home is never far away. Number 8. United Kingdom. Across the Atlantic lies the UK, with its rainy green hills, ancient castles, and a shortage of healthcare professionals. The British National Health Service, NHS, runs on compassion, and many of its nurses and caregivers now come from the Philippines. In fact, Britain and the Philippines signed a bilateral MoU in 2021 to recruit Filipino nurses ethically for the NHS. A typical UK nursing salary starts around £30, £35, often higher in London, and UK employers even reimburse visa fees for nurses under the Health and Care Worker Visa. Besides healthcare, Filipinos fill jobs in IT, hospitality, and retail. You might see a Filipino concierge at a London hotel or a temp in the city's offices. The UK's visa system is points-based, but for health workers, there's a special fast-track route. Speaking English makes integration easier, and many Filipinos relish the free education and healthcare the UK provides for families. Imagine a Filipino family watching Big Ben's chimes at New Year's, or cheering at a Premier League football match. Culturally, Pinoys in the UK celebrate fiestas in the park, and even queue politely in Trafalgar Square. One Filipino nurse chuckles, "Filipino time is a big no-no here. Yes, punctuality and politeness are part of life." One Filipina told us she always waits for the green pedestrian light, even at 2 a.m. Number 7. Germany. Bienvenido in Germany's fairy tale forests and tech hubs. German hospitals and clinics have an urgent need for nurses and caregivers, so much so that the German chancellor called the Philippines a treasure of well-skilled workers for Germany's health sector. As of 2024, there are about 6,000 Filipino nurses in Germany, many placed through a special G2G program. Engineers and tradespeople are also in demand under Germany's new points-based opportunity card. German salaries are attractive and stable. A registered nurse can earn €40.50 divided by year, and apartment rents tend to be lower than in the US or UK. Visas are easier nowadays. The EU Blue Card and new German Opportunity Card let qualified foreign workers get long-term residence if they have a job offer. Filipinos in Germany often settle in scenic regions. One ICU nurse we met lives in Rhineland-Palatinate, where castles and vineyards are ubiquitous. Postcard-worthy scenery is a common sight, and she hikes among Riesling wine villages. Adapting isn't too hard. As she quips, she has given up Filipino time and learned that Germans take being late very seriously. Picture our cowboy and sipping Riesling wine by the Mosel River or enjoying Bavarian sausages on Oktoberfest weekends. German culture with a Filipino smile. Number 6. Japan. Arigat and welcome to Japan, where ancient temples meet cutting-edge innovation. Japan is now actively recruiting Filipino nurses and care workers under a bilateral agreement. In early 2025, the Philippines Labor Department opened applications for 50 Kangoshi registered nurses and 300 Keigo Fukushishi certified caregivers to work in Japanese hospitals and elder care homes. Filipinos here train for a year on language and professional skills. The Japanese language training is free, with a daily stipend before 3 years of work in Japan. Salaries start around 3 yuan for million per year, $30.35 KS, plus lodging allowances, which can feel generous in Japan's high-cost cities. Japan's work visa under its economic partnership agreement guarantees a clear career path after passing the national exam. Nurses can secure long-term jobs. Culturally, life in Japan is orderly and safe. Our Filipino candidates must bow knee to greet, master the art of making ramen, and learn itadakimasu before meals. In their downtime, they may soak in onsen, hot springs, or marvel at cherry blossoms alongside Japanese co-workers. Imagine a Filipino nurse enjoying sashimi in Tokyo or celebrating Flores de Mayo in front of a Shinto shrine. Japanese efficiency. Meet Filipino warmth. Number 5. South Korea. Serenity. South Korea has begun admitting Filipino caregivers in a pilot program to tackle its aging society. Seoul's city government launched a project in 2020 for bringing in Filipino child care caregivers to support families. 100 workers initially. These caregivers earn at least the Korean minimum wage, $7 divided by HR, while helping with housework or childcare duties. Beyond that, Korea faces shortages in many sectors: manufacturing, agriculture, hospitality, so more foreign workers are expected soon. Filipinos in Korea typically find work as English teachers, factory technicians, or in restaurants, plus some adventurous souls working on cruise ships docking in Busan. The Emirates 9 work permit system has historically allowed Filipinos to do factory and agriculture jobs too. Life in Korea is a blend of high-tech and tradition. Think neon-lit Seoul nights, K-pop concerts, and kimchi-fueled kitchens. Filipinos here exchange adobo for bulgogi. Cultural note: our kababayans must learn whiting, the Korean cheer instead of bo. But family ties remain. Filipino houses of God and charlatan pantries pop up in metropolitan areas. Number 4. Singapore. Merlion City calls. Singapore is a tiny island with a huge demand for Filipino talent. Over 215,000 Filipinos live there, 60% as skilled professionals. Key sectors include healthcare, hospitality, construction, performing arts, I-court, and domestic work. Singapore's healthcare system, for instance, actively seeks Filipino nurses and aides to staff hospitals and elder care. In July 2024, the Philippines and Singapore agreed on a new MO to hire even more Filipino health workers. Salaries in the Lion City can be very attractive. Nurses may earn $3,000 for 1,500 divided by month, and there's no income tax for lower brackets, so take-home pay is high. Visas in Singapore range from the employment pass for degree holders to the S-Pass mid-skills or work permit for trades and domestic helpers. Many Pinoys find life here cosmopolitan and safe, from hawker center weekends, savoring chili crab and halo to convenience of English everywhere. A Filipino engineer might live in an HDB flat, while a domestic helper might cheer on the local National Day parade from the sidelines. Anecdotally, Filipinos in Singapore say they love the efficiency, no Filipino time allowed, clean streets, and even pickup Singlish. You'll hear Techlish mixed with Manglish in many gatherings. Number 3. United Arab Emirates. Next stop, imagine skyscrapers rising from golden dunes. Filipinos make up about 6–8% of the population, roughly 700,000 people. They're primarily employed in construction, engineering, IT, healthcare, finance, and domestic work. Why are Filipinos so in demand? The booming economy and tax-free salaries are huge draws. A Filipino nurse or doctor in Dubai or Abu Dhabi can earn 3–4 times what they would in Manila, for example. A nurse's salary might be $800 and $1,200 divided by month tax-free. Emirate employers and Philippine labor offices even guarantee a minimum wage of about $400 for us. The work visa system is sponsor-based, the kafala system, but the also recently introduced 10-year golden visas for entrepreneurs, doctors, and other specialists. Filipino workers here often share condos or live on villa compounds with their communities. Cultural life is vibrant. Even at a Dubai mall, you'll overhear Tagalog. And there are Filipino grocery stores and churches. Anecdote: after a day on a construction site in Abu Dhabi, a Filipino engineer might join friends for karaoke in a living room, singing Ray Valera, the blend of ultramodern Burj Khalifa, high fashion, and traditional modest dress. Ramadan makes it a unique work and adventure experience for Filipinos. Number 2. Saudi Arabia. Finally, the desert kingdom of Saudi Arabia. For decades, KSA has been the top Gulf destination for Filipino workers. Under the Vision 2030 development projects, demand has exploded. In fact, over 380,000 Filipino nationals went to work in Saudi Arabia in 2023 alone, more than double the number from the previous year. Saudi's vast construction projects, hospitals, universities, and the oil sector all hire Filipinos, from civil engineers and nurses to college professors and hotel staff. Salaries are high and tax-free. For example, Senior nurses or engineers can earn well above 30 ks per year plus housing allowances. Working in Saudi Arabia often means living in expat compounds, mixing with colleagues from many countries. Visas are employer-sponsored, and recent agreements have aimed to ensure ethical recruitment. Life in KSA can be an adjustment. The weather is extreme and social norms are conservative, but many Filipinos adapt. Picture celebrations. After Friday prayers, a group of Filipino nurses might enjoy kara-kara at a compound social or watch the Riyadh skyline light up. Return flights are frequent. Pilgrims can also make Umrah easily, and the remittances these workers send home are vital. As one source notes, Saudi Arabia was home to 20% of all overseas Filipino workers in 2023, making it a critical part of the global Pinoy story. Number 1. Australia. Today, south of the equator lies Australia, a land of kangaroos, koalas, and a huge skill shortage for the mining boom, healthcare, and IT. By mid-Minas 2023, about 360,000 Filipino-born people were living in Australia. 4% of all foreign-born Aussies. Filipinos here work as nurses, carpenters, engineers, chefs, and even teachers. The Australian government regularly invites skilled workers from the Philippines. Visa streams like the Skilled Independent or employer-sponsored visa award points to nurses, plumbers, and technologists. Salaries and benefits can be excellent. A registered nurse might earn as of $80 ks, a boilermaker well above 100 ks. Plus, Australians embrace diversity. Filipinos play fiestas in Sydney's parks and barbecue lumpia by the Sydney Opera House, mixing harana with didgeridoos. Life down under means a relaxed lifestyle. Weekends might see a Filipino nurse surfing in Byron Bay after her shift, or a group of friends having a picnic by the Great Barrier Reef. Australians are famous for saying no worries, sometimes mixed with a Filipino o siga. The country is known to be immigrant-friendly. Visa processing is transparent, and permanent residency for high-skilled migrants is achievable. In sum, Australia offers a laid-back yet prosperous life to Filipinos, from the outback rodeos to the cosmopolitan Melbourne coffee culture, making it an in-demand destination. Remember our earlier question: which country offers the highest salary to Filipino nurses? The surprising answer is Switzerland. Swiss hospitals top the charts for nurse pay, around $107 per year on average. Though Switzerland is a tough place to relocate due to stringent language and visa requirements, among the countries we covered, the US and Canada pay very well, but Switzerland edges them out according to global surveys. These 10 countries each offer unique opportunities and lifestyles for Filipino workers, from the sunny prairies of Canada to the cutting-edge cities of Japan, the deserts of the Gulf, and beyond. Our and expats adapt, thrive, and send our colors overseas. Proud Pinoys in skyscrapers, hospitals, construction sites, and schools worldwide. As this journey shows, the demand for Filipino skills is truly global. Which of these lands would you want to explore? And if you know a Balikbayan or an OFW friend, let us know in the comments. Where do you see the Filipino spirit shining next on the world stage?